Welcome to Off Good Victory. So today I want to talk to you about seeds. And spring's in the air. Things are coming back to life, and pretty soon here in the Ozarks, we're going to have to get started planting, right? So I have a lot of heirloom seeds that I store every year and, regerminate and grow my gardens out of. But this year, with all the videos that were happening in terms of seeds, I decided to buy some extra seeds. And so I got this thing on the recommendations of my friends over at the Provident Preppers. And so I used their link to get $10 off on this thing, but I did purchase it myself. And so this is from the Survival Garden Seed Company. And I think they're based out of Utah. But the reason why I got it is it's fairly inexpensive. I mean, each packet runs a little bit less than $1 if you do the math on it. And so here was 100 seeds, and here's kind of two of them, the carrots and the cucumbers. And what I want to talk to you about is long-term storage, something that a lot of the preppers do, but I think they don't do quite well. So like I said, I have a decent amount of seeds, but this particular Farmer's Seed Vault here, 100 heirloom seed pack, that's going to go underground. And so to protect seeds, you need a couple of things to go right. First, you need to control the moisture. Second, you need to keep the temperature ambient and stable. And third, you need it to be dark. So what I intend to do with it is, here I have them in my Mylar bag here. This is a 1 gallon Mylar bag, and I'm putting these seeds in there, and they're going to be closed off, and they're going to go underground. So here's the thing, I'll show you when I'm done with all of that. All right, so I got the bag set up and put all the seeds in there. So 100 seeds are in here. It's a gusseted 1 gallon bag, and so the contents of this container is now in this bag. Now the reason is, obviously we don't want to just bury this thing, because it's obviously gonna get moisture in there and bugs and whatnot. So we want to protect it. So the first step is I put it in this 1 gallon Mylar bag that's gusseted, 9.5 mil, I believe, and I actually just took out as much of the air as I could by hand, and I'm going to heat shrink this. But what I wanted to say is, don't put an oxygen absorber in there, because the seeds themselves right now from the manufacturer has exactly the right moisture content and everything that it'll be ready to go. And then there's going to be instructions on some of this stuff to rehydrate or to cold stratify, whatever, right? But the seeds are ready to go. You don't want to suck the air out of this bag. So just keep it the way it is and just try to take all the air out of it as much as possible. So then we're going to go ahead and get this guy ready to bury, and this box we'll use for something else. So I'm most likely going to put this into another container and then bury it. So let me show you that afterwards. But the main thing is we're protecting the seeds with this Mylar bag, and we'll be ready to go soon. Alrighty. So the last thing we want to do is go ahead and bury our bucket. Now, what we did was that Mylar bag that contains 100 seeds were sealed without an oxygen absorber, heat shrunk. And in this 5 gallon bucket, what I did was I put some of our wood shavings in that we got that's dry. And that's going to provide resistance just in case we get hydrostatic pressure that'll push against the bucket and open the lid, right? So we want a lid with a good gasket. We're going to place that on top of here, and then we're going to sink it into this hole. Now, the other thing is we are burying this quite deep, so you already see water coming up from the ground because it is spring, and yeah, we have water, obviously, but what we want to do is, I want to give you a perspective. We want to dig down below the frost line. So around the Ozarks, anywhere, like 16 inches, 12 to 16, 12 to 18, something like that is our frost line. So you want to be well beneath that to keep the ambient temperature of this bucket and these seeds at about 50 degrees or so, right? So you don't want frost to hit it We're not trying to stratify it or anything. We want to just keep it here long term. And I'm burying it right next to my shed here because I want to know where it is. I'll mark it obviously as seeds. We're not trying to cache anything, be stealthy here. We're just trying to keep these seeds viable for the longest period of time. So what I'm expecting out of all of this is probably a good 8 years for the viability of these seeds. It may even push longer for some of these. It may push a little shorter for some of them, but I'm going to do my best. It's going to be kept dark without moisture, air to kind of germinate all of this stuff, and it's going to be kept very cool. So those three factors should do it. Also, we're not going to get any rodents or insects in it because it's going to be buried quite deep, and it is away from a tree, so right where this is, so it's not going to have any issues with roots kind of getting into it and busting out the 5-gallon bucket either. So with the Mylar bag, with the sawdust in it, and with the 5-gallon bucket contained, everything should be watertight, insect tight, and good to go for many years. So this is how I'm doing it. And this is how I'm putting seed back for the long term. All right, so in conclusion, I just finished burying the seeds, and it is about 16 inches below the surface of the ground. So yeah, it shouldn't freeze at all, and it should keep a nice constant temperature around 50 degrees and store for a very long time. And the hydrostatic pressure shouldn't have any issues with it because it was the actual 5-gallon bucket had material that will be able to withstand that hydrostatic pressure from the water in the ground. And so yeah, we're going to keep it this way for a while. And so yeah, it's a cache, I guess. It's not like a doomsday prepper cache. Like, we're not trying to hide guns and ammo and food. No, we're not trying to hide the food. It is food though, right? So not quite a doomsday prepper thing. It's more of a homesteading thing. And just in case we can't get heirloom seeds, or somehow it fails, we have the variety in here. And so yeah, it's clearly marked, clearly visible. It's right on the corner of my shed. I know where it's going to be. And hopefully, yeah, we'll get a good 5+ years out of this, and we'll open it up and see what happens, and maybe we could even get 10 years out of it. I don't know, but it's an experiment, and it's something to do as food security, as the times are kind of up in the air right now, right? Alrighty, shalom.